Hello, everybody. I know this is a bit different this week, and it's actually Wednesday instead of Monday. But happy Wednesday. We're here on a different day because of the storm on Monday with internet being all fun and finicky. So I hope the storm wasn't too bad for all of you. And then yesterday I was at work late, so, it ended up being today instead of yesterday, which is totally fair. But happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another episode of Pucks and Power Plays podcast brought to you by Boston Sports Entertainment Network. You can find BSEN at BSEN_617 on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And then there's an extra underscore in front for their TikTok, so it's _BSEN_617 on TikTok. You can find the podcast at Pucks and PPs Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. I'm Liz, and you can find me at Liz__Fraser. And then on top of that, we also have a little store. So you can scan the QR code or go to bsen617.square.site to check out some cool merch that we either have, whether it comes to the podcast or just in general Boston sports teams, such as the Bruins, Patriots, Celtics, and Red Sox. There is also, I shared this last time, but I'm going to share it again, so give me one quick second to pull this up. But we do have a new women's sportswear section, which is fantastic. I'm super excited about that. So on here, we have some V-neck t-shirts. There's the crop t-shirts and then some tank tops. If you know me, you know I love all things cropped. So I got the crop t-shirt for the podcast. You will be seeing me wear this once I actually get it, and I will give an honest review. If it's anything like any of the other clothes we have on the site, it is going to be super comfortable, and you guys are going to love it. So you should definitely check that out because, one, who doesn't love apparel? And two, if you're a woman, who doesn't love women's apparel? So check that out whenever you have the chance. And again, it's at bsen617.square.site. And then on top of that, we also have a partnership on our podcast. So we have one with Just Strong. They are a women's athleisure company that are all about empowering women and making sure they feel comfortable in their own bodies while they do stuff. Their clothes are super comfortable. I have a cropped hoodie from them. And if it wasn't in this weird temperature range right now with whatever's going on in New England, with the constant, hey, it's warm, hey, it's cold, I would totally be wearing it right now. But they're comfortable, they're flexible, they're great, they fit your body well. And yes, they could be a bit baggy, but they're not like too baggy where they don't fit. But if you go to us.juststrong.com, you can use our code PUCKS10. One second. It's code PUCKS103975 for 10% off your order. So make sure to check that out. And then on top of that, we do have a book club. I totally forgot to post about the book for February. So February didn't have a book. But next week is the start of March. So you will see a post about the book for that at some point. Don't worry. I'm not sure what the book is yet, but I will figure it out. But if you want to join our hockey book club, our hockey romance book club, I should specify, send us a message. We have it in our Discord, but the link for that isn't publicly posted anymore because we posted it once and then got a bunch of bots. Though that was on Twitter. So if you want to find it, it is in our Instagram bio. Otherwise, if you don't have that and you just want to get it through us, you can message us and we'll send you the link. But otherwise, I believe that's everything announcement-wise. So now we can get on to the fun that comes with hockey's back and the Olympics. Now, if we go back a bit in the Olympics, because we didn't talk last week to give a huge recap, we do have, first and foremost, on Thursday last week, the women's hockey team. When I tell you that game was so stressful, I was at work while the game... Was I at work? Give me 1 second. I was not at work on Thursday. That was my day off. I was thinking, of the game right before that they had that felt super stressful. And then I was like, oh, we're up 5-0 and we won. But Thursday, US played Canada for the gold, and US won in overtime. That game was freaking insane because what do you mean Canada scores shorthanded at like the start of the second period, and then we don't have a goal till the final, like, I want to say about 2.5 minutes of the game off an amazing tip from an amazing shot, and then the beautiful overtime goal. That game was just all around. Both teams played out of their minds. Goalies played out of their freaking minds because the amount of saves and the way they had those saves were fantastic. The way there were multiple times where I'm like, oh, that's a goal. And then there's just a goalie. No goal. Like, it was fantastic. Some of the penalties to start the game, if we're going about the women's USA team, were a bit sloppy in my opinion. It kind of felt like not that they were overly confident because of how they have won every other game, with it being 5-0, or in that one game 6-0. But it did seem like they had this like cockiness somewhat to them of, oh, we know what we have. And then they had a few very interesting, somewhat dumb penalties to start the game. We had a too many men penalty, I believe. Another one was like a really bad hook or trip or something that it was like, we know we're playing a game, right? And I feel like they didn't specifically kick it into gear until the end of the second, which is what, in my personal opinion, I was like, oh, this might not be it. And then they changed it in the third. So that's all I got to say on that. But our shutout streak unfortunately did end in the second period, and I'm very, very sad about that. But I'm going to find it real quick. I'm so sorry, I didn't pull up any of the stats before this, which is going to make it really awkward while I'm looking it up and not talking, but it is I retweeted it somewhere, and this is like a week ago, so it's like hidden behind everything. I should have pulled up my sources ahead of time. Okay. Those are the lines. Oh, well, before I get that, I'm finding the one on Hillary Knight first. But Hillary Knight had the tying goal in the game to make it 1-1. And she now has the most career goals and points by an American or for women's hockey, but for an American women's player in the Olympics. She has 15 goals for 33 points, which is just absolutely amazing. But let me see. I'm finding the Providence record, which is really funny that I found that while trying to find all this, but come on. Okay. So the all-time record for the longest shutout streak in Olympic history got ended at 352 minutes and 17 seconds, which is so freaking impressive. Like, the fact that you can have, honestly, if you're around that, it's closer to 400 than 300, but over 350 minutes of just shutout hockey is insane. It's fantastic. And not even just the U.S. Women's team, but the the Canadians women's team. I am overall so proud of both of those teams and how they played, their styles of play, and just like making that a gold medal game that was worth watching. It was very entertaining. It was seeing the skill of all of these women as they just played their heart out. And it was fantastic. And I'm very proud of USA Women's for winning the gold. It very much felt like they deserved it with how they had played the entire tournament. Not to say that Canada didn't deserve it, because they did, but with the shutout streak, it very much was like, here you go. But I did see the stat about Frankel having faced 99 shots and saving 97 of them, which that save percentage, oh my gosh. One, just 99 shots in general is a lot to face. Oh, obviously overall. But 97 saves on top of that, only ever letting in 2 goals in the entire tournament, is just like, that's a brick wall. That's my brick wall right there. There is a reason. I think it's actually behind me, and it fell down my chair. But please tell me, yeah, I grabbed the right one. There is a reason I have this jersey, because that is my goalie, and she played her freaking mind out. And I'm so proud of her. It's gonna go right there now. But she did great. Both of our other goalies did great. The goalies for Canada did great. But she is like the main one from it when you think about it, just because of how well she did, all the games that she ended up playing. Again, just impressive. I honestly would love to see that team play a bunch of other games. Sorry, there's so much I'm going to say. I'm probably going to say the same thing 5 times, because, again, I loved that team. I loved the way they played. I love how supportive they all were of each other, how close they were, how close they even were with other team members that they had and who was there. But that's the gold medal game for women's. I'm pulling up the score because I don't want to say the wrong score. But the bronze medal game also went to overtime. I'd like my scores, please. Sorry, sometimes I want to fight websites for how they try to display stuff, because when they don't display it well, it's like, what do you have against me? Why don't you want to show me this? Especially when I have it like... Okay. So earlier in the day, for the bronze medal game, it was Switzerland and Sweden. And we had, I say we, if you are a Boston fan and a fan of the Boston Fleet, you may or may not know the certain player that scored the overtime winner for Switzerland. And we love her. She is one of our assistant captains. And I think it is so iconic in general, just for Boston sports, that your goalie was in net in the gold medal game that won. For the bronze medal game, it was one of your players that had the game winner in overtime. And then back to the gold medal game, it was one of your players that had the game winning goal in overtime. And then one of your former players, who is also just in general a Boston legend when it comes to the Boston Pride, who were before the Fleet in the previous league, having your former captain score the game-tying goal. Like, overall, it just felt like a very Boston-themed day for the women. And I'm very, very proud of them. But Elena Mueller scored in overtime. It was beautiful. Switzerland won bronze. She has her trophy. I believe I saw the stat. I'm actually going to find it again, because I don't like saying incorrect information, because that's just not cool. But at 27, she's now won 2 bronze medals, and she's scored both game-winning goals to secure the medals. And the first time, she was 15 years old, which is so freaking impressive in the first place. Like, could you imagine being 15 in the Olympics and scoring the game winner in overtime to get your team bronze? Like, I would cry at 15 if I did that. But she did fantastic. She also broke records as well. She set a new record for the most assists in Swiss women's ice hockey history, which is 13. And then she also set a new record for the most Olympic goals in Swiss women's ice hockey history, which is 16. And is fourth in all-time career Olympic women's ice hockey goals. Which, again, just crazy. I love seeing all these stats that were like broken throughout the Olympics, especially when it comes to the women's team and just overall Olympics in general, such as the shutout. But seeing the fact that they were able to just have all of these moments and be like, hey, we tied this in goals. We have a new top goal scorer. Hey, we passed this here and now I hold this record. Overall, super freaking impressive. I am so proud of all of them. I want to say at least 5 or so records were broken. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But there was a lot that had happened in that time, and it was fantastic. Let's see what. There's another one I'm trying to find. I'm so sorry. When it is just me, it sits in silence for a moment because my brain will try and process as I type. And if I start talking while I'm typing, I will end up saying like the wrong thing or typing the wrong thing. And it's just I promise I'm going to find it. Or I'm not going to find it. But that's okay. You know? I'll probably find it. I hope you guys know, like, right after this ends. And then I'm like, oh, here's the fun stat I could have shared that I didn't get to share. But that's okay. And then, on to men's hockey. We had... Why'd you kick me off of it? Sorry. This website's being dumb. The bronze medal game was Slovakia against Finland. This comes from the previous day where we had the semifinals. So Canada beat Finland 3-2, and the United States beat Slovakia 6-2. Those games were very close, especially with the fact that Canada had to tie the game in the third period to make it 2-2, and then scored on the power play with less than a minute remaining to get their third goal, which is just crazy how close those games were. But going into that, or actually before that, I gotta rewind real quick because not everyone made it there. So back on Tuesday, we had the men's qualification playoffs for some teams. Almost every team that a Bruins player or a prospect was in advanced, with the exception of Latvia, where why can't I think of his name? We're gonna blank there for a minute, and it's gonna be okay. But the one prospect we had in the tournament did not advance. I feel so bad that I can't remember names right now. Oh, that's awful. But following that, we had the quarterfinals. And unfortunately, a few of our players got eliminated in the quarterfinals. We had also, before we get into that, 3 of the 4 quarterfinals all went into overtime, which is insane that it was 3 back-to-back overtimes that day because the first game didn't, but games 2 through 4 did. It's just crazy. Like, but the first game was Slovakia and Germany. We had no one in that. And then the second one was Canada and Czechia. That one, unfortunately, Canada, or not unfortunate for Canadian fans, but for Bruins fans, it was unfortunate because that did mean David Pastrnak is now out of the Olympics. He didn't get to make it further. He did have the second goal for Czech during that game. It was a power play goal, but unfortunately, they just didn't win. So he was eliminated, and then we had the United States play Sweden. So no matter what, if you're a Bruins fan, you were going to have a player advance. Or at least 2 players, because there's 2 on each team. But they won 2-1 in overtime. And neither Hampus or Elias Lindholm ended up scoring for Sweden, but with them losing, they were also eliminated. We did get a Hampus tripping penalty during that game, which just felt very on brand for how he has played lately, especially with, I don't know what's going on with his stick infractions. But seeing that, I was like, oh, that's the Hampus I know. That's who I'm expecting to see this week. Yep, that's my player right there. But with how the shots were that game, too, it was surprisingly close. USA had 40 and Sweden had 29. But following that, we go into the semifinals. Canada beat Finland 3-2. And USA beat Slovakia 6-2. So then that led to the bronze medal game and the gold medal game. Bronze medal game was played on Saturday. Finland against Slovakia. Finland won 6-1. So that means Korpisalo and Jokiharju have bronze medals. They got a medal out of this entire tournament. I am so happy for both of them. It's fantastic. The photos of the 2 of them are some of the cutest things I've seen with just how big their smiles are. I love it when the players are just like so excited, and they seem to love the little if you haven't been paying attention, they've been giving out little plushies of the mascots to the players, and I just love those photos so much. They're some of the best ones I have personally seen. Also, if I sound somewhat weird, I'm so sorry. I keep feeling like I'm going to hiccup, like, not to go on a side tangent, but I keep feeling like I'm going to hiccup every 5 seconds, and I don't think you guys have heard my hiccups yet, but they are loud and high-pitched and so annoying. So I'm so sorry if you guys end up hearing that at some point. But they won bronze. They were clearly super happy, and we're very happy for them. And then we have the gold medal game, which I think is really, really fun that both for women's and men's it was Canada and USA. I think it's cool that there was that bit of a parallel between them. But that game went to overtime, and the US won 2-1. Which, again, this is going to be weird to say, but it does mean that we had no players on Canada, and I feel like I've said this a few times. But having so many Canadian players on the Bruins, it really feels weird to be like, oh yeah, that player could be there. Or like, we're so used to having these like prominent Canadian players on our team, and it's like they're not there, which is weird. But US won 2-1, so Sway and McAvoy got a gold medal out of it, which good for them. And some of the stuff that followed is very, very interesting, to say the least. That is 100% a whole topic, and a very huge topic that needs to be talked about, especially with some of the comments that have happened. But the overall of laughing at women's hockey, and I get it, some people have said it could have been uncomfortable, but laughing at comments about women's hockey is never good. It does not help. It's not great. If anything, you should be supporting them instead of laughing about it. But that is a whole thing. I have a lot to say on that, and we're just not going to go into that right now. But US won, so we'll give them that. And now that it's over, players are coming back. They're reuniting with their teams because the NHL starts up again today. The Bruins don't start until tomorrow. But we do have currently 4 games going on. 2 of them have already finished for the night, and 2 have yet to start, which is weird because I'm seeing one of them was a 10 o'clock start time. So I'm assuming there's probably something going on before that game starts for why it's a delayed start. But as of today, Buffalo and the Devils have already played. That was a Buffalo 2-1, and the Flyers played the Capitals with Washington winning 3-1. But it's nice to have NHL hockey back. There are 8 games today. There's going to be 12 tomorrow. But also, outside of that, we do have women's hockey returning tomorrow with the PWHL. I believe the first game is, I want to say it's Montreal and the Sirens. It's at 7 o'clock tomorrow. That one's going to be fun. But during the Olympics, hockey was still going on. There's a reason we sent Patra back down to the AHL, and that's because during this time, the AHL was still playing. And Providence was freaking kicking butt while they played. Also, as of 34 minutes ago, they won their game today, 6-4. So let's go, Providence. Back on another win streak, hopefully. But I think it was Monday they lost the win streak. I just want to double check real quick. I'm so sorry. You guys have to hear me, check everything. Yeah, so it was Sunday. Sunday we lost 5-2, which unfortunately meant that our winning streak came to an end. But we did set a new record with our win streak. Oh no, we technically lost for the first time on Saturday. We lost 2 games back to back. I thought we won Saturday. That's my bad. But it had to have been Friday then. Yes. Friday we won 5-2, and we set a new record in Providence for our 13th straight win. New franchise record, which is fantastic. I am so proud of the way this team has been playing all year. They've been going on these incredible win streaks. I believe we set a new record earlier on when we had 12, or we tied it. So this isn't our first super long win streak. And I'm trying to see if I can find the standings, because I know we're in first, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, so right now Providence is in first with 79 points. In 50 games, they have won 39. We have lost 10, and then we've had 1 overtime loss. So we're 39, 10, and 1, which is an incredible streak, especially when most of them have been streaks on top of streaks, because of those 39, there was a 12, or it might have been 11. But there was an 11 or 12, and then there was another 13-game win streak. And this team has just been insane. Everything about them has been great. The chemistry's there, the way they're playing. They've been, I want to say, relatively disciplined. Out of the 8 teams in the Atlantic, they are 6th for penalty minutes with only 568, which I know feels like a lot, but considering first is 730 and then second is 699, I will take it considering we're the highest in the 500s in the Atlantic. So they're doing great. I'm super proud of them. The next team below us is the Penguins with 75 points. They're 35, 13, 3, and 2. But they've played 3 more games than us for 53 games. So we pretty much, unless we decide, hey, we're not going to play the rest of our games, have the top of the Atlantic secured, which is great. And I just can't wait to see what they can do come playoff time for them. I feel like it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, especially because some of our games too are pretty high scoring. We've had, if it wants to, I've said it before, I hate the AHL website with the way it doesn't want to work half the time. But with the way the scores have been, but that's not what I want to say. They've been doing really well, just overall of letting in as little goals as possible while scoring as many as they can. And also, they just came off their Batman theme night, which loved it. Really need one of those jerseys right now. Would be great. We did also sign a goalie to an amateur tryout today. Fun fact for anyone keeping up with Providence. But that is where we're currently at. And then overall, I would like my team, please. Sorry, I have this filtered and then it unfilters, and I'm like, why are we doing this? But within the Providence system, right now, our top goal scorer, and I feel like this is going to be a shock to a lot of people, is Riley Tufte with 22 goals. Next is 17 by Patrick Brown and Merkulov, which is, I feel like when most people think of that team, you don't think of Tufte and Brown as like your top 2 goal scorers, which is just insane to say in general. But they've been doing great, and you can tell that this is just all around the entire team is just able to find this chemistry. They're able to play the way they want to play, and they can do everything they want to do if you have so many guys that are contributing. Because next you have Lysell with 15, which just shows, yes, your top guys are there, but you have other guys on top of it who aren't there. And then overall for points is Patrick Brown in first with 47. He has 30 assists on the season with his 17 goals, and then it's Merkulov with 42, and then Tufte with 40. And then Lysell is not too far behind him. Behind them. He's at 37 points. But we're already at the point where we have 3 guys at 40 points. And not all of them. The only one of those 3 who has played all 50 games has been Patrick Brown. Which is insane that they're all right around there when they haven't even played all 50. But it's just, I'm so proud of that team. Sorry, I'm going to say it again. I love everything they've been doing. They've been great. Our goaltending's been great. I want to see if I can find there. But I want all the stats. Oh, there we go. Our goals against average have been fantastic. We've had 1.76 for DiPietro. Simon's at 2.19. They're doing great. Their save percentages Well, yes, you could like them to be higher. They're also not that bad. You have a 938 and a 923. Again, could be slightly better, but also not the worst. So very happy about that and how well they're doing down there. I feel like the break was also just like good for them in the fact of like you didn't have to worry about call ups with being like, oh, hey, I know we're clicking right now, but actually we need this guy or that guy to leave and go up. And then you have to figure out how to sort this new person in, which, yes, when we've been doing call ups, they found a fantastic way to do that. But it would be nice for them to like find a way to do it all again. And just like, it's nice to just have that peace of knowing everyone's here. And unless something happens injury wise, we're all going to be here. So that must have been nice for them. It must have been nice for the players as well, up with the Bruins, to just have that break to relax for a week. I believe it was Peake and his fiance who ended up going to like a surprise wedding during break, which is always fun. I love seeing what the players are up to and what they choose to do. I think we've had like 3 different players go to Universal during that time, which, one, good for them. 2, I'm jealous because I've never been to Universal. And 2, it's cold up here. I would like to be in a bit of a warmth. Now, like, don't get me wrong. I love the cold. I love the winter. I love the snow. But I want a little break. Because we haven't had a proper break to the point where I can see the grass fully again. It's just snow on top of snow. And there's apparently another snowstorm potentially coming this weekend or even Sunday. And I'm like, no. I love it. But let it melt a bit first, please, and thank you. That's all I'm asking for, is a bit of melting. Just a bit of green, and then maybe it can snow again. But, back to the NHL. We're back today. The Bruins are back tomorrow. I want to say we have 2 games this week. Yeah, 2 games this week. We play tomorrow at home against Columbus, and then we play Saturday in Philadelphia. And then we get into the crazy schedule that's March. In March, we have a total of 4 back-to-backs. Everything's starting to get closer in the final hit. But at the season, you just had 3 weeks off compared to the normal, I want to say 1.5 to 2 weeks. So now it's just crazy. We're probably going to see a lot of either players sitting, whether they're coming back from the Olympics and have just either gotten an injury or played through an injury to play in the Olympics. And this goes for every team and not just the Bruins. I feel like I think we've already seen some, but we're going to see a decent amount of injuries come out of these Olympics. And not to hop back onto like former players, but if you watched how Marchand played at all, it very much did not look like him. And I believe he's probably going to be injured. Or at least like injured. Or not like super injured, but there's got to be an injury there. And I want to see, I think some reports started coming out. I know there were some that specifically happened during the Olympics that we watched, which weren't great. They were a bit concerning with some of them. I'm not going to lie. Which is never fun to see. But I don't remember what team I saw it for. I saw an injury report. And now I can't find it because everyone's posting about all the games, which, like, totally fair. I would be posting about the games going on too, so. There are some players that are returning from injuries, And I think that's also a great benefit of a 3-week break is players can heal. They don't feel like they're forced to rush back. They have time to just sit and relax and let their body do what their body needs to do in order to heal properly. Oh, I do know it's Crosby. Crosby had an injury that occurred at the Olympics, so he missed the rest of the games for Team Canada. But he has been placed on IR and he's expected to miss a minimum of 4 weeks, which is just one insane. But also, if you saw the hit, I feel like I honestly would have expected it to be a bit longer of an injury and not just 4 weeks. But again, that does mean if he's back, he's not playing again until April, most likely. I think that's it for injuries that have been published so far, but I could be wrong. There could be more that I'm not seeing. But outside of that, now that hockey's back, we do have the trade deadline on not this Friday, but next Friday. So in a week and 2 days, we hit the trade deadline. And I have a lot of very strong opinions on what I think could and could not happen. And then there's also the rumor of DeBrusk. I'm going to talk about that one first real quick. But if you haven't seen it, I don't know how real this is. There is a rumor that there's interest in bringing DeBrusk back to Boston. And I'm not going to lie, as great as a player as he is, I don't think he would work with the team we have right now in the current coaching system that we have. I don't know who you'd give up for him. And I don't think any of the players that we could give up for him, I would want to give up to bring him back to the team. I don't know. That just feels like it could be a very weird, sticky situation where it's like if he comes back, we then have to do stuff around him versus around the team. And while I don't think it would be okay, make everything DeBrusk centered, I don't know if it would be a good fit to bring him back like almost right away. So I'm not on the bring Jake DeBrusk back train. I think let him go somewhere else if he's going to leave Vancouver. Let him go wherever he wants. Just don't bring him to Boston because I don't think the price would match what we would get. And I think he's had his time here. I think he needed a change of scenery. And I don't think you need a change of scenery. Like some players need a change of scenery and then they can come back and be fine. I don't think it would be fine if he came back. I think it would be a bit weird. But I don't think we're going to be huge sellers at this point. We are still currently, or as of where Olympic break ended, we were a playoff team. Granted, it is second wild card, but still a playoff team nonetheless. So I don't think we're going to do anything too big where we like actually get huge names and push for a playoff run. But I could see, I don't think we're going to be completely silent either. I think it's going to be one or two small little trades that happen, whether that's just people aren't fitting in with the system, so we go to get rid of them, such as like John Beecher, if he didn't get claimed on waivers, if we still had him as of right now, I feel like he would have been gone, he would have been traded. Like something small like that where they're just not clicking. I don't necessarily know who I would put as our like, hey, you're not clicking, we're going to trade you just to get something. But I could maybe, well, it's not that he's not clicking, because he has picked it up a bit. But I could potentially see Middlestat getting traded. I want to make sure I have the right thing when I say this, but as of right now, if you go by goals on our team, he is sixth on the team. He's tied with Huznidinov for 12 goals. And he's eighth in point, or tied for seventh in points with 28. But I don't know. I feel like he's there, but not there when I watch him play. So it's kind of this interesting, like, I could see him being moved. I don't know who else in the main lineup I would see being moved. Besides him, maybe. I don't think we would move Peak or anyone in D right now. But maybe a D move? I'm not sure. It's weird. It's not like years where I'm like, oh, we're like going back to Craig Smith, for example. I know that's years ago, but like, oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of Craig Smith for whoever we get rid of. Or like, if you want to go back even further, you have like Nordstrom, Ochari, all these guys that it's like, okay, I can see trading them. I don't know who I can see trading on our team right now. Especially with what they've built between them. I feel like it would be weird and potentially like, I feel like it could make a bit of a mess if we take someone out. Because I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird this year, which I'm not sure if I'm a fan of, but I've accepted it. And then on top of that, I do know this got announced earlier today. Yes, 5 hours ago today. If you watch on BSEN, I know this is all over the place, and I'm so sorry to you guys. It's just how my brain's flowing. But the 7th Player Award, our nominees got announced. And if you follow along, typically there's anywhere, I want to say, between 6 to 8 players that get nominated. So I don't know if the nominees that got announced today are just the first set or if they're the only nominees for it. But it does feel like a very, very small group considering it's only 4 players and we're used to more. But let me pull this up real quick. The 4 players that got nominated for BSEN's 7th Player Award, we have Aspero, Kastelik, Kuznetsov, and Min. I think there's a case for pretty much all of them. Most of them have either set records for themselves or have just had overall very great seasons. They've proven themselves to the point where they've made it so they are consistently in the lineup. I don't think you can say any of those guys would be the guys you would sit right now for what they've done. So I very much agree with all of them. I don't know if they would be the only 4, but I think injury-wise, if it ends at this, it makes sense why they would be the only 4 to come out of it. Because I feel like injuries did mess with a few other players. But that's all of that. And then let me pull up exactly what the 7th Player Award is for people who don't know. But the 7th Player Award, oh, it is only those 4. Sorry, they have the voting publicly open now, so you can vote for who it is voted on, by the way. So the 7th Player Award is given each year to the unsung hero on the team, the player that works hard every day for the good of the team without the expectation to be recognized, which I feel like you can make a case for Kuznetsov and in that they have the slight expectation to be recognized because they're younger. But at the same time, they weren't the main names you're looking at. So that would be why you wouldn't include Geeky in this for this year. He is someone you expect to be recognized. So it's voted on by fans. You cast your vote, and you also defer a chance to win stuff. But essentially, you vote for the Bruin, who's performed above and beyond expectations. And genuinely, all 4 of them did. Like, I didn't expect Kastelik to hit the career highs he's hit. Asperat to, like, make the team. Because he didn't make it initially, but then to stay in the lineup the entire time. Kuznetsov, I feel like we saw some of this at the end of last season. But also just the way he's been able to play his game this season and have chemistry with multiple different line mates just also shows like He's really putting in the work. Same with Mitten, with where they are on the team as well, overall stat-wise. Because Mitten being tied for fourth in goals on the team with 14, crazy. And then Husnudinov right below with 12. Like, they're all up there. They're all in your top 10 in points, your top 10 in goals. Not your top 10 in assists, but that's okay. They are right next to each other in assists, though. Mitten is technically in 10th with 15, and then Husnudinov is tied for 11th because he has 14, but they've all gone above and beyond. I'm between a few of them on who I would pick, but I think they'd all be great. If you guys know who you would pick, go and vote for it, or even just leave a comment. But they've all done great. No one's done as great as Morgan Geekie, but that's okay. And then if I remember correctly, Geekie won last year, I want to say. I could be wrong. But yeah, Geekie won last year. And then the year before him was Frederick, and the year before was Zako. So this was before these guys were like, no one expected Geekie to do what he did last season. No one expected Trent to do what he did the season he won it. A lot of the time it's guys hitting career highs and you don't expect them to hit what they hit. Like, who thought Geekie was going to be a 50-point player last season? No one. But he had 57 points. He's also, looking at his stats real quick, 3 points away from tying that, 4 points away from passing it. And besides how condensed the schedule is coming up, I think it's very possible that he's going to pass it. I think there's a very high chance he's going to hit 60 points this season. And honestly, if I have to make a bet on it real quick, I 100% think he's going to hit 60 points this season. If I'm wrong, whatever, I'm wrong. But wishful thinking, I think he's going to hit 60 points. I think that'd be really cool if he did. I think it would also just be great for him in general. Boston has 100% changed how he's played his game. He almost had 40 points in his first season with us. He was 1 point off from it. I think it would be great for him and just his game in general. I don't think he's going to be pasta levels, but I think he's going to get up there. And he's got a lot of time to do it. Also, I know I mentioned this with our 4 back-to-backs in March. We do have 2 in April, so we have 6 more back-to-backs coming up for the rest of the season, which I'm not excited about. But, you know, it is what it is at this point. It's condensed. You have a bunch of games you still have to get in. We have, I don't even know how many we still have to do. We have, because I can totally do quick math, we still have 25 games to play. So we got a while to go. And also Washington just won. So they're 2 points below us now for the wild card, but they have 3 games in hand. Bit worried about that, but that's okay. So there's a lot to go on. A lot going forward that will be interesting, especially within the next week. We'll start seeing trades. I'm kind of nervous for it because I don't think we've ever known Sweeney to just be quiet, but we'll see what happens. I hope it's nothing too drastic that I'm going to be like, what the heck did you do? I kind of hope it's something more small where it's like maybe a pick for a pick or like a prospect for a prospect, depending on who the players are, obviously. But it'll be interesting. But now that hockey's back, and this is something we have missed the past 2 weeks, we have predictions. So the way, if you're new, that we typically end our episodes is we look at the games that are coming up in the next week. And because we record on Mondays, we look at from when we record to the next Monday, And then depending on the time of the game, if it's on Monday, we will either include it in our predictions or not. But we only have 2 games coming up. We have the game on Thursday and the game on Saturday because our next game isn't until Tuesday next week. And because I don't want to do predictions alone, give me one quick second to see if I can grab someone to do them with me. Okay, I have someone. Don't know if he's coming over or not, but if you've been here before, you know him. My husband's here.
Hi.
And I make him do predictions with me sometimes because it's fun, and why not? But starting off, we have our game tomorrow at 7 o'clock in Boston against Columbus. And fun and weird fact, this is our first of 3 games against Columbus coming up. It's very weird that we're not seeing them until literally the end of February for the first time. Because what do you mean we haven't seen them all season?
And
then we play them at the end of every month coming up. Like, that's just end of February, oh, Columbus. End of March, Columbus. End of April, Columbus is back, guys.
Some could say it's Columbus Day.
I regret this. Every time he comes on, he says something like that, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry.
I thought they changed it.
Anyways, we are, stat-wise, we are 32-20-5. Columbus is 29-20-7. They, in their last 10, are 9-1-0.
Ooh.
They have won 7 games in a row. We are 6-1-3 with losing our last 2 in a shootout. I don't believe Columbus played today. I'm double checking real quick. Yeah, Columbus did not play today, so they're coming fresh off break tomorrow.
I'm going to say that I know normally I go, oh, if the team's doing well, we're probably going to do good, but if they're doing bad, then we'll lose.
Yeah.
But because this is our first game against them, I'm gonna say 2-1 Columbus.
Okay. I'm feeling that because this is also Coyle's return to the Garden, by the way. Or just his return to Boston. Yes, we haven't seen Columbus all season. Coyle got traded last season. So this is him, huh?
This isn't a repeat of the Carlo incident?
No, it was DeBrusque. Carlo also got traded last season. DeBrusque left 2 seasons ago, and I forgot he came back last season. I'm not going to lie. If you didn't see it, there was an episode where I genuinely talked about, oh, it's weird that no one's talking about DeBrusque coming back when he came back the season before, because I kind of forgot he, 1, existed, 2, that he left and went there. And if that tells you about how he's played and how I've felt about him in the past, where he kind of disappears and you forget he's a player, yeah, that kind of sums it up.
But yeah, what's your guess?
I don't think it's going to be super high scoring. I think, honestly, I kind of like your 2-1. I think I'm going to steal it. But I'm going to say in a shootout because Coyle was one of our shootout guys. And I feel like putting him in a shootout to win it, Coyle shootout goal. That's mine.
I don't want that. Actually, wait, you have Coyle on your team, right?
I do.
Yeah. So I wonder why you want him.
I don't get points if it's a shootout.
Okay, that's fair.
Because it's not a goal. It doesn't, okay.
Okay.
It counts as no, I'm going to say this real quick. It counts as a goal for goals for a team, but it doesn't count as a goal for the player. And it's like, shootouts are weird, man.
Shootouts are very weird.
But our other game this week is Saturday. We're in Philadelphia for a 3 o'clock matinee game. Our matinees have been very, very weird this season, where most of the time we don't show up. And then randomly for, I want to say it was our Black Friday game against the Rangers, we showed up and played and really played that game.
I am going.
Oh no, we didn't play that game. We lost that game. There's a matinee we really actually played. Oh no, it was our other one. The Black Friday one we lost. The one against them in January was our 10-2 game. That was insane. So
I'm going to take my guess
yes.
and say I'm feeling 3-0. Who are we playing?
We're playing the Flyers. So the last time we played them was back in January, at the end of January. We beat them 6-3. They're 25, 21, and 11. They're on a 2-game losing streak.
Ooh, yeah, 3-0 Flyers. Again, we tend to do pretty bad against teams that we should win against. I don't know how well this is coming through, but yeah, we do pretty bad against teams we are supposed to crush.
Look at where they are standings wise.
Yeah, but we lost to the Rangers, didn't we?
Yeah, well, the Rangers all of a sudden sucked. So
yeah, during the period we lost to them.
Okay, so you're going 3-0, really?
3-0. I don't have faith in them for that game. Again, the more likely we are supposed to win, the more likely we are to lose.
Okay. I think Boston's going to win that game.
You have optimism where I do not.
And I have a feeling. I want to say 3-1 Boston.
If that's what you
Well, Pasta hates the Flyers.
I know, but he hasn't been doing that crazy performance in the last Flyers games.
All right, now I have to fact check him. Give me a quick second.
He's been more of a playmaker by your own admission.
Well, yeah, but he still hates the freaking Flyers, so...
Yeah. Have we only played the Flyers once?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a +3 that game.
That's fair. Okay. Maybe I'm just misremembering it. But you know what? I already locked in.
Yeah, too late now. Pasta's
nothing
going to have
Flyers.
like a freaking hat trick that game, and he's going to regret his choices, and that's okay.
No, actually, it's going to be geeky.
That's fine by me. Wouldn't be upset about that.
See what players are on the Flyers.
Pasta's hate for the Flyers rubbed off on Geeky, and next thing you know, we got 2 back-to-back hat tricks.
Okay, are those the 2?
Yes, those are the 2. We only have 2 until Monday. Our next game isn't until Tuesday.
Okay.
So you're not needed anymore. Goodbye, Jacob.
Why?
He's gone now.
I'm still here.
But anyways, thank you for joining us this week on this very random Wednesday episode because of a storm on Monday. Ideally, as long as there isn't an actual storm again this weekend, like there are predictions of, and it's not bad like Monday's was, fingers crossed, please and thank you. We will be back on Monday. Hopefully. Ideally without a storm. But in the meantime, you can find the podcast at Pucks and PPs Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you like to listen to podcasts. I always recommend watching us on YouTube because it's fun to see the little facial expressions that we make when something's said, and also that way you don't sit in complete dead silence for a moment. If there is a moment where if Emily and I have to just stare at each other. Because there have been moments where one of us will say something and then we sit in silence for like a minute, just staring at each other and like communicating through like blinking and our looks. And you just don't get that if you listen. But also, if you want to listen. I won't complain. You can do that. You can always check out Just Strong at us.juststrong.com. And again, if you want to get clothes from them, you can use our code PUCKS103975 for 10% off your order. You can also, speaking of ordering, check out our store at BSEN617.square.site to get some cute merch for maybe this very, very cool podcast or just Boston sports in general. You can find BSEN at BSEN_617 on Twitter, Instagram. Why can't I think? Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. That's what it is. So sorry. Don't mind me blinking. And then on TikTok, you can find them with an extra underscore. So it's underscore BSEN underscore 617. I'm Liz, and you can find me at Liz underscore Fraser. And we will be back on Monday, ideally, if there's no storm again. And we'll see you all then. Bye.